Whenever we do a video here, it's because on some level I look at the video and I say, you know, if I didn't see that video, I wouldn't believe it. And every day I am amazed on this channel, not just by the violence, I'm amazed by the denial. I'm amazed when teachers and teachers union officials can look into a camera and pretend they are surprised by the level of black violence in their schools. I'm amazed when reporters whose own stations have done stories on this for years can go into a classroom, into a principal's office, into a school board office, talk to a teachers union official. I'm amazed when they can just look there, just listen as everybody says, wow, we've never seen or heard anything like this before, when that is one big, fat, hairy lie. Three examples here, one from Buffalo, one from Detroit, one from Baltimore. All of them pretending like they've never heard of this before, when in my book, Don't Make the Black Kids Angry, and in videos since then, we don't even bother with Detroit, but we've covered stories about the teachers union in Buffalo, where the teachers go, hey, our classrooms are out of control. We've had interviews with teachers we see them being beaten on video. And now we have another beating situation, another administration, another bunch of people, another bunch of reporters looking at it going, wow, I've never heard of a place where black students are out of control in a school before. I guess we're going to have to keep an eye on this development. That's denial, deceit, and delusion at the highest levels. And it just keeps going round and around and around, and where it's going to stop, nobody knows.
Residents living near McKinley High on Elmwood Avenue have seen a big change in student behavior.
Walking down the street smoking pot at 8 o'clock in the morning. Walking down the street at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon smoking pot.
And this is not something you would typically see with McKinley High School students in the past?
No, never.
Neighbors shared photos with Two on Your Side of what they've seen and videos of students fighting.
I have seen anything from public urination, smoking of pot, drug deals, fights. One of the neighbors I observed was trying to park, and as he tried to back in, the kids started hitting the vehicle with their hands.
And then last week, a teacher was body slammed by a 14-year-old student and suffered a major cut on his back. The student was arrested and charged with a felony. And now the district has placed the teacher on paid administrative leave. The teacher does not know why he's being disciplined. The Buffalo School District issued a statement saying, unfortunately, what is being portrayed in the media is incomplete and therefore inaccurate. The district will issue a full statement and any further disciplinary measures for the involved parties when our investigation is completed. When asked what's inaccurate, the response was simply, it will not be discussed until the investigation is completed. Teachers and neighbors say student behavior changed after longtime principal Crystal Bowling Barton was placed on leave.
She ran a tight ship. These are children. They need supervision.
Teachers feel unsafe. Students feel unsafe. At any given time, there could be, 100 kids in the hallway. It's pretty crazy while class is going on.
The current acting principal is Mark Abraham.
This is one of the first schools that we have ever had that the teachers actually took a vote of no confidence because of what was going on in that school.
Something has to change drastically and very quickly, because if something doesn't change, there's going to be another incident like what happened in the school outside of the school.
And some neighbors have already spoken with the North District councilman, the principal, police, and school security. So far, they say little to nothing has changed. Remorse says nothing has been done by the superintendent. And by the way, according to the union, the student arrested for assault last week was in trouble before the winter break, which resulted in a lockdown at the school.
This is the aftermath of a vicious attack on a substitute teacher at Cody High School.
All of a sudden, all I hear is bang, bang, and I'm sitting there like, what happened? I was doing my work, and I just looked up, and she was on the floor, and she was like shaking and stuff, like her head was messed up.
Keontae Nelson says it all happened around 10:30 Thursday morning in a math class. The student walked in and began punching the woman, sending her to the hospital.
He ran up on the old lady, hit her, pushed her on the ground and hit her again. That's not something that anybody should do, especially not to the old lady.
Brandon and Tisdale and 2 other students went after the boy as he ran out of the classroom. They were outraged he attacked the woman.
My friend Keontae and my man's John, we felt offended by it because that's somebody's grandmother. So we ran out the classroom and the boys started running. We chased them down.
Detroit Public Schools Community District says the student went after the teacher because she told administrators he brought drugs to school.
3 attacks on teachers in the city by students in the last month has educators concerned.
Full stop. Did this reporter just say that in the last month, 3 teachers had been attacked in Baltimore City schools? Full stop. Here's the real number. 3 or 4 teachers, staff members, administrators, lunchroom employees, nurses, 3 or 4 of them are being attacked every day in Baltimore City schools. Capiche? 3 or 4 a day. We talked about that and Don't Make the Black Kids Angry.
That's why a meeting was held Friday to find solution to these assaults in Baltimore City.
What caused this to happen, and why is this continuing to happen again and again in our schools?
Teachers Union President Marietta English says several issues were brought up, including what actions should be taken if a student assaults a staff member and how to eliminate this violent behavior in the classroom. The group will offer suggestions to the school board and legislators.
We hope to take this all the way to the state, to make this an example for all of the districts in the state of Maryland.
Mark Missouri and Lionel Tide are seniors at Dunbar High School. They say this anger and frustration from some students starts off in their home life before they even get to the classroom.
And that's why I think that, as our message says, trying to build a connection with these students so that we can know the problems that are coming in so that we can try and stop them before it escalates to these points.
These students say the pressure of living in the city, be it the violence of the streets or problems in the home, make it hard to turn off when they come to school.
People do things out of fear to protect themselves from the outside. Sometimes it may carry in to the inside, but everything starts kind of outside of school, dealing with fear of being harmed or any other type of incidents.
Once we come to school, it's not as if, as human beings, we could just leave everything at the door when we enter school. When we come to school, we're still affected by it, sometimes physically, but also mentally and emotionally. And I think in a lot of the recent events that have happened, that has been one of the main causes.
They will have another meeting in January and come up with a list of recommendations for Baltimore City school leaders.
Wooly gonna get his ass.
Oh, shit.
Damn, I fucking.
Damn, I gotta lay this fuck on and shit.
Wooly gonna get his ass beat.
Do it again. Damn!
And you got to love that story out of Baltimore. Anybody who read Don't Make the Black Kids Angry recognizes that woman from the teachers union. She's the one who goes to national meetings of black legislators. And she's the one who stands up and says the only solution to improve education for black people is to get more black teachers in classrooms. You know why? Because when a student says, "What's up?" we have to understand what that means. So Baltimore is one big hot chocolate mess, and it got to be that way with the complicity of the teachers union and the person of that wig-wearing clown we just saw. There are 16 high schools in Baltimore where nobody, not one single student, these are black high schools, can read above the 3rd grade level. 16. And now the teachers union and the teachers, the administrators and the school board, and everybody wants us to know that actually they don't have any responsibility for what happens in their schools and in their classrooms, because everybody knows it starts at the home, and everybody knows if we're going to fix that, that's going to take a whole hell of a lot more free stuff in Baltimore. So let's get working on that. The teachers and the school board and the administrators, they know what an incredible, I'm going to break my own rule here, shit show they run in these schools. they know they cannot defend the conditions in the schools. They know that they've been a willing participant and a willing designer of the conditions in these schools. They know they're the ones, the teachers union and the school board, they're the ones out front in saying that black students are relentless victims of relentless white racism all the time, everywhere. That explains everything, especially why they're being disciplined so often in schools when everybody knows black students and white students, they do the same thing all the time, everywhere. That explains everything. There's no difference.
Please, sir, I want some more.
God, what an enormous lie. It's part of the greatest lie of our generation. The lie of black victimization. The violence, the chaos, the mayhem in places like Baltimore, Buffalo, Detroit, all over the country is an everyday thing. Nobody's learning. The inmates have taken over the asylum. We're still having a huge hangover from the Obama administration period where, for 8 years, teachers and administrators knew that if there was any disparity in their school between white students and black students in performance and discipline, that was one reason and one reason only, white racism, and you better not have it anymore. That meant teachers stopped disciplining black students. Everybody got the message. Go crazy. Nothing will happen to you. And if the worst thing does happen to you, you're not going to get arrested, because we can't arrest our way out of this mess, Colin. You're not going to get arrested. You are going to get suspended. So in other words, you're going to get a vacation for doing what you love doing in the first place.
Denial.
It also works for the teachers and administrators because it also helps them do what they love doing, which is not making the black kids angry.
Denial. Deceit.